What's up, everybody? It's me, Kevin. This is the second time I'm filming this because the camera just decided to delete my footage, but don't worry, it is worth watching, and the second time's gonna be better anyway because I'm gonna walk you through exactly how Lauren, my wife, and I bought our first rental property. Well, now it's a rental property, but then it was a house for us to live in with zero income and very little money down. And it was a complete fixer, complete wedge deal. So let's talk about it because it was a crazy, crazy ride. So here we go. Let's rewind back to like 2011. 2011, Lauren and I were agents and we're like, you know, it's probably good if we're like teaching people how to buy real estate if we either owned real estate or at least said we were trying to buy real estate. It would maybe motivate people more to like think we were legit because we already looked like we were 14. Lauren maybe looked like she was a little bit older than me because she was a year and a half older than me. But yeah, I definitely, we actually forget about it. We both looked like we were babies. So it was probably tough for people to take us seriously as agents trying to sell people anyway. And I always think like, hey, if you really like your product, why aren't you buying it? In fact, people used to ask me that when I was a real estate agent, like, if you like it so much, why aren't you buying it? Like, huh, okay, maybe I will. So Lauren and I, like, hey, we should start looking at stuff for sale for ourselves to buy. And we used to go on broker tour every single week to look at houses for sale. And that's one of the things I always talk about in the real estate investing course is like every house that comes up for sale, you should be looking at. I mean, back when we used to do broker tour together, I would walk into these houses with a clipboard and I'm like, looks like they got a water leak over there. And I was taking notes on all these houses. But the point of that was we were so jazzed about real estate, we were trying to look at every single house possible to try to learn every single thing we could. Now, this just happens to be another house in the neighborhood that's actually pretty similar to what we ended up with. We're gonna walk over there right now. But we took all this excitement of us looking at as many houses as possible, which you should do as well, and the theory that, well, if we're selling real estate, we should also probably be buying ourselves. And then we decided, all right, well, let's try to buy a house. So we had looked at maybe 5 properties that we were thinking, oh, might work for us. And we probably made the stupidest mistake ever. We didn't have our pre-approval letter yet. And remember, we had no income. So we're like, we'll just wing it. We'll just kind of go looking around and stuff. So that's actually exactly what we did. Don't do that. It's a bad idea. I tell everybody in the course, first thing you need to do is buy your pre-approval letter, and you'll see why. So we get into this neighborhood one day, and it was actually my father-in-law. He's like, hey, Kevin, like this place just hit the market. And I'm like, oh, okay, let's check that place out. So we, drive over into this neighborhood. I remember in 2011, I'm like, it hit me driving down the street we were about to hit, going down the street thinking, oh my gosh, we might be homeowners soon. Like we're starting to get really serious about buying. And it was weird because we were coming from a place of having like nothing. I mean, I think I had $6,000 to $8,000 saved up, partially in savings, partially in stocks. That was from working at like Jamba Juice and Red Robin part-time. Lauren was working at Mrs. Fields and Red Robin part-time while doing some property management and real estate. I mean, we were trying to do everything to see like, okay, where are we gonna make more money? And then we'll cut everything else out. Like we were just scrambling, trying to figure out how we're gonna make money. And I think a lot of us start that way and it's okay. We weren't, what's so weird is I think I'm more impatient now than I was then. I mean, then everything was good. It's like, wow, if I close one real estate deal this year, I'm gonna double my income at Jamba Juice. It was like, what was the rush? Yet now it's like, oh, gotta get another deal. It's weird how things have evolved. But anyway, we drive down the street and we're like, whoa, we should totally buy the place you're about to see. So we called the agent. We're like, hey, we want to write an offer on the place. And they're like, all right, well, you're gonna have to have a pre-approval letter. I'm like, dang it, that's okay, we'll get a pre-approval letter. The place had just hit the market. And he goes, and I already got 2 cash offers. I'm like, what do you mean you already have 2 cash offers? The place just hit the market. He's like, yep, it's a foreclosure. It's a good deal, so if you want it, you better hurry up. And so we scrambled and ended up getting a pre-approval letter through Bank of America, and it was a Bank of America foreclosure, which keep that in mind because it comes into like major play shortly. But anyway, we get this pre-approval letter, and you might be wondering like, wait a minute, how could you get a pre-approval letter? I know, I was wondering the same thing. See, Lauren had really zero real estate income, and I had zero real estate income at the time. We just had a little bit of Jamba Juice income, but the lenders are looking going, you can't qualify for a house working at Jamba Juice for a year. You gotta work for a place for like 2 years to be able to use any of your income. Okay, see, I didn't like to give up easily, and I still don't today. I kind of just like, this is a good idea, let's do it. Even if it's a stupid idea, let's just do it anyway, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, that happens. Anyway, we called up my dad. Dad, hey, you own a place. You got any debts? He's like, no, just the loan on the house. Thick German accent. I'm like, Dad, help us buy this house. And he's like, you guys want to buy a house? You guys sure you want to stay in Ventura? I go, who cares if we're going to stay in Ventura? Worst case scenario, we'll rent the place out. That's what I tell people in the course too all the time. If you don't know about it, link below. It's like, who cares if you're going to move? He's like, oh, that makes sense. Well, what would the payment be? Well, the payment's going to be this, and the rent would be this if we had to rent it out. And he's like, makes sense to me, sign me up. I'm like, well, that was easy. So he's like, sure, let's do it. He sends in all his paperwork, which he got really pissed because the amount of paperwork they wanted. He's like, what do they want? Like my blood type and my DNA too? And like, Dad, we really need this deal like ASAP. There are 2 cash offers. Like we need you to get this paperwork in right away. So we finally get our pre-approval letter. I'm like, agent, what are the offers you have and how much time you guys get? You guys got 2 hours to get me an offer. I'm about to send in all the offers to the bank. I'm like, ooh, well, what are the offers? And I kind of had to read between the lines, but I ended up finding out the place was listed for $287,000, $287,500. That's what it was, $287,500. And there was an offer at full price and one at $290,000. I'm like, okay, we'll offer $305,000 because I figured somebody would either go to $300,000 maybe to compete, or they might go like $301,000, like eBay strategy, but $305,000, nobody's that risky. So we're like, let's go $305,000. And they actually gave us the deal when we wrote an offer, putting 3.5% down against 2 cash offers, partly because we were paying $17,000 more, and partly because I think it was a foreclosure from Bank of America, and it was a Bank of America lender doing the loan, which is good for them as a company, and you know, the government kind of wants to see more homeowners owning properties, so they kind of push that too. Looks good for the banks, you know, while they're getting bailouts and stuff. So anyway, took advantage of that stuff. The hard part began now, because what I didn't tell you is that this foreclosure did not have a kitchen, had like crappy tiling, didn't have toilets, it was nasty, there were gross cars in the driveway, oil leaks, I mean, everything about it was just messed up. And we did what's called an FHA 203K renovation loan. That means we were able to put 3.5% down on the price of the property, plus what we wanted to spend on renovations, which was another $50,000. So we actually put 3.5% down on $355,000. So we only had to put down a relatively small amount. I mean, the bank was financing 96.5% of the house purchase and the fix up. And then we had to get bids and get those approved by the HUD consultant through escrow. This is where things went funny, because the bank gave us 60 days to close. Well, 60 days came and went. And the bank threatened and did put the property back on the market multiple times during our deal. I remember the first time they did that, they put the place back on the market while I was in the kitchen taking measurements of the kitchen. And within 20 minutes, I see these like dudes in like shorts and like dress shirts coming up. It's like classic California investor. And they're just like poking their heads through the windows. I locked all the doors and I took the keys out of the lockbox. I'm on the inside like hiding behind the wall like, please don't come in, please don't come in. Like, I want the deal. Meanwhile, I'm like, can I call an attorney? Do I know an attorney? Do I have money for an attorney? I don't have money for an attorney. So I'm like, I felt screwed. I was sure I was gonna lose the deal. So this went on, the entire transaction went on for 6 months. And here we are. It's been 8 years, and this is the property. This is the property where we, as a 19-year-old and 18-year-old, started our real estate investing career, ended up building our first retaining wall, first artificial grass, concrete, dual-paned windows, French drains, the epoxy on that garage floor, the drywall on that garage. You see all these bushes right here along the side? Yeah, we cut that concrete. I put the French drain in for that. I did the irrigation for it. I did electrical in the house. I hooked up those washers. That washer and dryer right there, I put that stuff in. And I had to fix those washer and dryers because we got them used. We literally had no money. But it wasn't until like 2 months after we actually closed the deal that we're like, oh my gosh, we looked at each other, we're like, we're homeowners, this is so cool. I think we did like 7 trips to IKEA. We bought a kitchen, we bought beds, we bought furniture. I was an IKEA assembly man for straight up 6 months. I mean, give me any IKEA project right now and I will dominate it right away. Just give me some coffee. So yeah, I mean, there you have it. I mean, that is literally how at 18 and 19, Lauren and I combined our incomes, 0 plus 0, 0, and ended up buying a house, financing it for, 3.5% down on whatever, $355,000, renovating the place, dealing with contractors, doing a lot of work ourselves. I mean, trying to stretch every dime. We were on like the tightest shoestring budget ever, but we literally went from being clueless to now being able to tell the world, as in like all of our clients. I mean, we wanted to be modest about it, but we would always tell our clients like, we're buying, we think it's a good time to buy, this is why we bought, this is how we did it, and that helped people see the vision. I mean, we used to take clients to this house and we're like, hey, want to see a kitchen remodel? Look, we did this kitchen remodel on a budget, come check it out. I mean, everything we could try to use this house for as an example, we did. And I mean, people in the neighborhood would bring us cookies for Christmas, and this neighborhood was awesome. We thought we were gonna live there for like 7-8 years. Sure enough, we moved within 2.5 years, which is like classic. I feel like everybody always moves, but now it's like the sickest rental ever. And what I didn't tell you yet, at least, is it's probably the best part. The year after that, we had some real estate income that we could show to qualify for a loan. We did a refinance on it. We were able to pull out $100,000 of equity. That's like straight up cash, tax-free cash. Check with the CPA, I'm not a CPA, can't give you tax advice. Tax-free cash, and use that to buy another property, which we bought as our first rental property. And of course, this is one now too. So, I mean, absolutely unbelievable. Hi there. And that was the other thing is like all of the neighbors in this neighborhood, they like literally all have nothing to do but call each other about 2 dudes walking around making a YouTube video. Is that the mic drop? No, that's when you push the subscribe button and be part of the pre-100K crowd. Do it!